Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this beautiful weather here that we're moving from spring to summer. Thank you for Oktibbeha County and all the blessings that it provides for each and every one here today and each and every one that is out in Oktibbeha County as well. Thank you for the great state of Mississippi. Thank you for this nation, dear Lord, and the freedoms that we all enjoy. Dear Lord, be with the military, not only here, but the ones that are abroad, dear Lord, who guard the gates of freedom, dear Heavenly Father. Be with this country, dear Lord, through this year. Just be with everyone as they leave this place as well and go about their way. Keep them safe throughout this week, throughout this month, throughout this year. Thank you for all our local leaders, our state leaders, and our national leaders. Thank you for all the many blessings that we've had, the ones to come. It's in your Son's precious name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. First item of business is the approval of the April 2023 board order. What is the pleasure of the board on those board orders?
I have one. That's number 10. Number 10, April the 3rd. Number 10, April the 3rd. That just the road really is Runt. R-U-N-T, Runt. Runt Road.
All right.
R-U-N-T.
Any more other corrections, additions, or deletions? All right. If that be it said, what's got a motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard to approve the board orders. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes.
No.
Oh, motion passes 4-1.
Thanks.
All right, moving right along the citizen comment period. Are there any citizens here that would like to approach the board for up to 3 minutes? You may do so at this time.
I'd ask a question of the board, please.
Yes, sir.
We were asked to come here as part of a group that is here to encourage a lease agreement between city and county for a recreational facility in the storm shelter. I don't see it on the agenda. So are we supposed to wait and listen, or are we supposed to say something now and hop out of here?
You can make your comment now during citizen comment period.
All right, take it away. So my name's Cliff Long. I live at 63 Adelaide Boulevard. I'll very loosely represent about, how many's on the mailing list now? 295 people or so on the mailing list. We play the worst named sport in America called pickleball, and there are issues right now with the facilities of the city, including the strong possibility that they're going to do a rebuild of the McKee Park facility. And so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the folks that the contractor named Sports Facilities, who is the city contractor that takes care of Park and Rec, I believe, along with the Board of Aldermen, has approached the county about a very small part of the solution, which would be the use of the storm shelter. And again, we've talked about it over the past 5 minutes, and none of us have a lot of real detail about it. We were just asked to come. I will just say that as a pretty new citizen, been here about 2.5 years, I've gotten to know more people from just literally all over the community. We have physicians playing with teachers, playing with Walmart store clerks, playing with retired people, college kids, 13-year-olds to 80-year-olds. We have one of the literally best pickleball players in the Southeast, in the over 80 division, who along with this gentleman right here has had a silver medal in the U.S. regional final. And we've had a number of tournaments in the past 2 quarters that have brought people from Montana, Washington State, North Carolina, Florida, Texas. Anytime somebody brings their kid to look at the university, they come find us through either Facebook or social media where we can be found. We could be doing a lot more if we were doing what Oxford is doing, what Opelika, Alabama is doing, what Tupelo is doing, which is all rushing to build facilities that are large enough to support the demand. And I'm hoping that's where we're going. For the time being, we're asking you guys for a short-term solution. And I'm happy to pretend like I have any answers to any questions. Maybe you want to hear from someone else, but we're just asking for some help in the short term. Last thing I'll say is this is not a fantastic solution. All right, what makes this game great is not having 2 courts in a different neighborhood all over the city. I would have never gotten to know all these people that I know from all across the community by having 2 courts here and there and there. You know, you need to have one facility where we're mixing and changing and meeting and receiving new people all the time. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the option on some evenings, some mornings when things like upgrades are going on, when things like Little League Baseball is going on. I'm sure you've had that conversation with the city. And so we're not asking to be the solution with the 2-court fix over there. We're asking for a temporary.
Would you state your name again?
I'm sorry, it's Cliff, C-L-I-F-F, Long, L-O-N-G.
Thank you.
You bet.
We certainly appreciate you all
Thank you for
coming
your time.
today. Is there anybody else that wants to speak on that for 3 minutes?
Raise your hand if you would.
For the city,
Well, yeah,
right?
I'll
Just a
I'll
second.
stand up and just echo that I agree with everything that's said. You know, I've been here long enough since 1984 to know that, you know, the city and the county have to move. I remember playing in the soccer field at the airport where you could lose your foot in a hole, and look what we have now. Same thing with baseball. I've played on baseball fields all over the city and coached there. Now we have, you know, Cornerstone. You know, it's we need to move in that direction, and we know that we will. This is again just kind of a short-term band-aid to a problem.
We certainly appreciate you all
Growing
coming.
sport, and it's
What was your name, sir?
Mark Lehman, Lehman.
Attorney, you want to speak on this, or you got anything to
The
share?
city has already signed the contract. We've got the contract ready. I think y'all had some questions that we wanted to make certain were flushed out. But whatever the will of this body is.
Okay. Dr. Bushby?
Yeah, my name is Phil Bushby. Again, echo Cliff's comments. The difference between me and Cliff is I've been here 45 years. And it's amazing the growth of pickleball and the number of high school kids to 80-year-olds that are playing this sport. And as Cliff said, this is a temporary solution, but it's something that's very needed.
Can you put a plug in for your organization while you have a chance? What's your name, your Starkville Pickleball?
Read my shirt. I mean, it's an informal group. I mean, we don't have, to the best of my knowledge, we don't have a formal charter or whatever. We have a mailing list that I think 3 years ago had 25 to 30 people in it, and now has 200 people in it. 3 years ago, we'd go out and there'd be 10 or 15 people playing. Now, any morning at McKee Park, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, you're gonna see 40, 50 people out there waiting to get on those courts. It's becoming so very popular. It's addictive. You guys ought to try it.
I think you would have had to been living under a rock if you hadn't heard about pickleball and how fast the sport. Actually, I think there are some professional athletes that's purchasing leagues and things like that.
Right.
But I think the board has agreed. We just had a few minor details we needed to make sure we had hashed out as far as storing things in the building and making sure that everybody understood, you know, that given some bad weather at a short notice, it might not be available. But I think the board has, you know, pretty much had a consensus of
Great.
of doing it.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Ann Gibson, newly retired and moved here from Calhoun County. And I had started playing pickleball, driving the hour over here just to play pickleball. And of course I've got a grandson here. But I moved from a county that wasn't progressive like Starkville is. And that was one reason I moved here. And I have met more people through pickleball. In fact, I formed a group for beginners and advanced beginners, because so early in the game, they see these advanced players play and they, oh, we can't do that. But mine has grown from 4 of us to 13 in just the last few weeks. So I'd appreciate a favorable response to the subject.
And what was your name?
Ann Gibson.
Ann Gibson.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Kim Davis. Just want to add another voice to the mix, and I'm speaking more in terms of the long-term solution of building the 16 courts that have been proposed. I also support using the storm shelter, which has been described as more of a short-term solution. So I think that's great too. But just wanted to add a little bit of an emotional appeal. Pickleball for me is a true passion. Like Dr. Bushby said, it's addictive. And it's just one of the greatest things that has ever happened in my life, and I can't imagine my life without it. So I do hope we move forward with the expansion of the outdoor courts for all of us to play on. Thank you.
Well, we certainly appreciate you all's comments and thoughts on that. The board is going to take all that under consideration. We appreciate you all being here this morning. Mr. Cody Barnett with the city, I think he wanted to approach us for just a
Yeah, go
I'm happy to wait until the.
No, it's fine.
Okay, perfect. For the record, I'm Cody Burnett, city engineer for Starkville, and we are doing a roadway project this summer that is a soil cement DBST road. And I think that Supervisor said it the best. Sand Road is one of the roads, and it is ruined. It is in horrible condition. It serves about 20 to 30 residents, and it also serves our wastewater treatment facility, lagoon, a dump site, and a series of apartments. And so the majority of the road is a current chip seal that's in really poor condition that we're going to soil cement and DBST. But there's about an 800 section, linear foot section on the end that is, I would call it completely unimproved. It's just dirt. So we have residents living there, and so we're going to send a street department in to I'd call it grade and blade the road to get it ready for soil cement, because it couldn't even be soil cemented in its current condition. So the problem is we don't have a motor grader. And so our street department has looked everywhere to rent one, and he can't find one anywhere. And so we're hoping, since this is a city road and also an Oktibbeha County road, we can partner, get an agreement to use the motor grader. I've asked him how long this would take. He thinks with good weather, a couple of weeks. It would be to come in and blade it once, give it back to the county, lay some pipe, then borrow again and come back and completely grade the road. So 2 to 4 weeks pending weather, and that's probably 5 to 7 days of actually motor grading use. And so anyway, our street department superintendent's excellent at this job. He'll take great care of the equipment, and just wanted to see how the county felt about it. So that's what I have today.
We've got a road manager here. I don't know how you feel about
Sure.
releasing his equipment without an
Sure.
operator, but you
Yes, sir.
can speak with him.
Yes, sir.
Well,
I'd be glad to do that.
I mean, I don't have a problem for approved operator. So if he's been with the machine before,
Yes, sir.
we just get with them. I just need a little lead time to get one available, so it will be available.
Yes, sir.
And,
Well, I'd be happy to meet with you with our street superintendent to make you feel as good as you need to feel, and we can set that up. Yes, sir.
all right.
All right, with that being said, what's the pleasure of the board on the request?
Motion for approval.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Miller, that we authorize this request. Are there any questions concerning the motion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by the pro vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Barnett.
board. I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Moving right along. Are there any other citizens here, citizen comments here that would like to approach the board? You may do so at this time. Being none, we have Mr. Henderson, personal property damage. Is he on the agenda? Here, rather. I don't see him. Ms. Kuban, assessment changes in homestead deletion. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I've got assessment change plus 3 homestead deletions.
I've read those. I make motion for approval.
A motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Ball.
All right. right, Mr. Warner, Patrick Warner, Volunteer Fire Department update and questions. Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. How is everybody doing this morning?
Good.
First thing on the agenda that I have today is you should have a packet. It should be a B, and C on there. One of our new trucks that are coming in, the department wanted to put some graphics on there. The graphics that I was given, I wasn't real comfortable with doing because they were a little bit out of our normal graphics. This is what they wanted on the truck. I wasn't quite sure about that. They wanted the American flag eagle. So I give out a packet, you know.
I like C.
I was gonna say C.
Oh, well, there's 3 right there.
See if I could get approval for that. That would be great. They, you know, I'm
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion for approval on design C.
Go ahead.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by their proper voting sign. Motion
And which
passes
vehicle?
unanimously.
I'm sorry, which truck was that gonna go on?
That's going to go on the East truck. It's one of our new pumpers. It should be here, and probably it should be here before August 1st. And I'm not for the. I mean, I'm okay with, you know, some of the departments having some individualization, you know, because they. But I do want it to be appropriate. That's why I wanted the board to see it and approve it before I said anything. The second thing on the agenda, the tanks out on John High Road. I got 2 bids on them. Or 2 bids on it to sell it. I had one bid for $1,060 and the other bid for $1,500. Obviously, I think we should take the best bid, $1,500. I'd like to go ahead and get the approval to sell the tank on John High Road for $1,500.
So moved. Second.
It's been motion properly second that we go ahead and sell the bid, sell the tank. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by their proper voting sign.
2.
Motion passes unanimously.
2, one for $1,060, one for $1,500.
Is there a number?
Howard.
How do we have that in our system?
And Montgomery.
That was way before
What's
me.
tank number?
That tank's been there probably 20 or 30. Yeah.
That's the one in the V.
Yes, sir.
sitting there.
It's been
Yes,
sitting there forever.
It may have never been.
It probably was
It may have
never
been
inventory.
Received as cause it was a donated tank.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to
Yeah.
make certain that I'm
I just don't know.
identifying it. Thank you.
It'd be the water field tank on John High Road is how I would.
I can't believe.
Patrick, while you
There was about 15, 10 or 15 that they put around the county. Most of them are in use.
You may wanna take a
That
look
one's
at it.
not.
Sell it possibly also.
There's one
I'll
right
contact
there
the other gentleman who had the other bid.
Right, that'll work out.
Courthouse. I mean, you know,
That'll work out.
between.
I do.
So they're Tony's property.
Yes, sir. We'll get together.
Okay.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Pat.
Motion passes unanimously. I think we didn't announce. Moving on to the next item, Ms. Campanella, MOU for Handling with Care Program. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, how are y'all?
Good morning,
Great.
good, how are you?
I've got some guests with me today, but y'all have in your packets about the Handle with Care program. So we've been meeting, I was reached out to Dr. Oliveros. I knew I was gonna mess that up.
This is why they call me Dr. O. It's just a little bit of a mouthful.
So I want to let her explain a little bit about what the program is, but they reached out to us in February about starting this program here. And then we also have Ms. Kayla Stewart she's a psychologist from the school district here. So if you want to come up this time and tell them. Did y'all get those handouts?
We did.
Yeah, we have, ma'am.
Okay, good. And I think it has a link also to where you can catch a quick video. But the low-tech version basically is that there's enough adversity and potentially traumatic events, right? Because whether it's trauma or not, we can debate. But the point is, it can still stimulate, especially in children and adolescents and developing minds, a traumatic stress response. And when these events happen, and it could be anything, it could be that there's a domestic dispute, it can be that, you know, there's some reason why the police need to be called or the fire department needs to be called. Usually anytime there's a first responder, what we tell kids usually is if something scary happens, look around for the helpers, right? There's always helpers. So usually if there's a first responder coming, there's a chance that there's something scary that's happening, at least from the perception of a child. So when a first responder gets to the scene, arrives on the scene and sees that there's a child, they can the idea behind Handle with Care is that they will take a moment to count that there's a child, be able to get the name of the child, and ideally if they get the school that they go to, that's great. But if not, if all they get is the enough of information, like the name and the age, then just with that information, used to be there would be like a little fax that the school would get with just the name of the student, and then the rest of the memo is basically just Handle with Care. So all you're getting is, you know, Joe Johnson, Handle with Care. And by the school getting that notification, they're not getting anything that's confidential or problematic in terms of legal privacy. They don't get to know what the situation was. It's just something happened last night. So in the morning, when the school has that information, they can take that name. They know there's someone in the office that knows who's the teacher that sees this child, so that the teacher can be aware. Because otherwise, these kids show up, whether it's in the middle of the next day or 2 days later, and the teacher has no idea that something has happened. And so without knowing what's happened, we can respond to child behavior in a way that might not make it better, might make it harder for them to kind of rejoin the kind of normal world. When something happens that kind of shakes your reality, it's hard, it's hard for adults, so it's especially hard for a kid to kind of come back to class, pay attention, follow the rules. There's gonna be emotions, there's gonna be things that come up, and if the teacher's not prepared, they don't know how to work around it. Now, once a teacher knows, so in situations where you have a good communication with the teacher, sometimes a parent will actually notify a teacher and be like, hey, grandma had a scare last night, the ambulance came over, so I'm sure that affected his sleep. You know, if that is happening, then great, but a lot of times that's not happening. There's a lot of miscommunication and a lot of, you know, missing communication between teacher and parent. And so this is a way to have that notice happen. And we're not using a fax. We actually came up with a way to have the memo just reach 3 leaders in the Starkville-Oktibbeha County Consolidated School District, so that then they have access to all of Power School, and so nobody that doesn't have access to that information is seeing that information. And that way they can tell, okay, so this kid is at this school, they know for sure, and will be able to communicate that to the teacher. So the first part of the process is just counting that. We have the first responders being very, very gracious in all of the work that they do to add this one step. And it has been done in other states. This would be the first time being done in Mississippi. So what I'm hoping is that we will have lots of bragging rights just in kind of rolling this out. The plan is a sustainable partnership. So what I've let them know is, obviously because it's a systems initiative, there's gonna be times that there might be snags. And so our plan, the MSU commitment, is we will come back to kind of troubleshoot and figure out, okay, so how is it working? When is it not working? What can we do to make it easier? Just to have that effort, right? It's not gonna be perfect, but if we can get even some of the situations where kids are involved and there was a potentially traumatic experience, we can get some situations where the teachers are aware, it can make a huge difference for those kids who, if the teacher responds kind of in a, hey, you know what the rules are and you've done it again, so go to the principal's office. When you respond in a punitive way, even though it could be logical, that doesn't work to make the kid feel connected and engaged with the school. And from early on, we see that when a kid starts to feel kind of not welcome, not engaged, like they don't belong, not safe for any reason, even if everyone's doing what they logically are supposed to do, they become disengaged, and that disengagement results in more absenteeism, worse, functioning academically, dropping out, all of these things that then we later on see at youth court with all the absences. Sometimes the most supportive person that a kid has in their life is the teacher. Not because parents aren't trying, but because parents are also sometimes very traumatized. So this is a way of kind of taking the really great intentions and great skills that our first responders and our teachers have, and with good communication, maximizing their being able to use those skills, especially when it most counts, when a kid is really struggling. let me know if you have any specific questions about the proposal, because I kind of gave you the,
I do have one.
Yeah.
And I see it's the school district, the public school district. What about Starkville Academy? Have you reached out to them?
our plan is to start this way, and then we can integrate other schools. Because that is the plan. I have spoken to, for example, preschool and after school, like the Empowerment Station Academy. I've met with the director for Empowerment Station Academy, and she was cool with it. She said, yeah, that's fine. We can, make it with our website where they can easily, click a link and be able to just say the name of the student. That's it. And so that's all they need to know. And so we'll do that similarly. And we also, I did talk to one of the fine folks at the Discovery Center, because they have so many different projects. And I spoke to someone last week about it. And so we are making those connections and those conversations, because we know there's lots of kids in lots of different places. But like I said, it's a system intervention. So any part of the system that we can get working smoothly will make it easier to add other schools. Yes.
My only question would be, and you did say it's just going to be limited to certain teachers, right? Like, so this is not something that, the school, it's like put on a bulletin board or anything. Okay, all right.
So what the first responders do, they'll all have a QR code. They'll scan all the same, like before they leave, they'll scan this code, and all that's in there is the student's name and like how old they are and what school they go to.
Yeah.
And then that information is pushed to Ms. Kayla.
So I'm the school psychologist for the district. Myself, Chief Shoemaker, who's our leading resource officer, and Chief Tillman, we have an email that has been set up with Just Handle with Care, and that what comes from them is going to go strictly to this email that only 3 of us are on. And then it's going to be sent to our cell phones through a text message, so it's just us 3. And then we're going to get with each other. Like, I know Chief Shoemaker goes to a lot of the high schools first, and I'll go to a lot of the younger schools, and we're going to coordinate. And if it's at Empowerment Station, Starkville Academy, things like that, I go to those a lot, in the Discovery Center. And then each of us is going to get with like a counselor. Our next thing is presenting to our principals. Well, of course, our board, then our principals, and our counselors at each school, kind of setting the stones that way. So it's going to be very confidential. Nothing's going in our record. We don't want anything at the school. It's going to go that email, and then we're going to go to the teacher.
Sounds good.
And the teacher doesn't contact the student. Like, they don't go to the student and say, hey, we saw that you had an event yesterday. They just kind of monitor if something was to happen, they may know why.
And more than likely, the counselors are going to play the vital role at the school.
Yeah, that's another important part that's in your proposal, but maybe I should have mentioned too, is part of the system intervention is also providing training.
Yeah.
So we will be connecting the teachers or any of the staff members with training. And if the training is somehow not satisfactory, we will figure out something else, because with my regulation and resilience lab at MSU, we create trauma-informed training. We develop that. And so we have some already that have had some positive response from teachers. We had teachers last year take a self-guided online modules on, being kind of the supportive response to child misbehavior in a more trauma-informed and developmentally informed, that kids are not just miniature adults. Their brains work differently. Their behavior is kind of like, sometimes you need to decipher what the heck is going on with them. And so the teachers gave us a very, very positive response. They were like, oh, everyone should take this. But we know that it's adding anything to a teacher's work day, right? It's probably to any of our work days, is kind of stressful. So we're working with the school district and figuring out how to make it as seamless and take as efficient, and get them CEUs for taking the training, things like that. But part of the training is that you don't actually have to know the details about the event at all, and you don't even have to get the kid to talk about the event at all. Yeah. Right? That's one of the things that is actually a misconception, that we used to do the debriefing. That's like old psychology, that you would go after the event and debrief the kid or the person and get them to talk about it. And now we know if the person wants to talk about it, you should be trained enough to listen and just be chill about it, so that the person is not worried then about your reaction to their stress. So there's ways to listen, but you don't ever have to get them to talk about it. Just you knowing, like, they've been through some stuff. And when you see them playing in a different way, talking to a classmate in a different way, maybe using a different language, maybe reacting kind of a little bit more mad than they normally would, you know, or kind of falling asleep because they're not getting enough sleep, right? There's ways that we can respond to that in a way that doesn't add on to whatever their difficulty is, feeling embarrassed or feeling like now I'm in trouble, I'm a bad kid. So it's about how we respond to the kid being a kid with that background knowledge, not at all about having the teacher like approach them about the event. That doesn't have to come up. The counselors also will have additional training, and we've talked about using the CBT groups for trauma in the schools. We have that curriculum that we can teach the counselors. So the idea, like I said, is a sustainable partnership to improve the awareness of mental health concerns, mental health needs, and what the supportive response can be to challenging behaviors in the school. It's going to be an ongoing partnership, and this is just one aspect of it.
I have one.
Yes,
comment.
absolutely.
I like it. I think it's gonna be real good and it's gonna be helpful for our school system. I like the handle with care, I like that. It seems, however, that something is missing, and that's in relation to children who could possibly be of harm to themselves or harm to others.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like there will be a handle with care A and a handle with care B. And each one would mean something different, once the school personnel receive that information.
Yeah. So I hear your concern, and it's valid that you want to know like what kind of concern do we have about the child. The truth of the matter is that when you've gone through a traumatic stress response, the way that the child responds, whether it's to take something sharp and scratch their skin, or whether it's saying I don't want to be alive and making statements that they want to be dead, or whether it's hitting their peer or throwing something at the teacher. All of those responses are really on a range of possible reactions to traumatic stress, and they can all happen to any of us at any time. So the best violence prevention, what I've learned, whether it's violence against myself or violence against others, but the best violence prevention is actually anti-oppression work. So when those things happen, usually it's because those kids feel very unseen. So we're working proactively. When there's a notice of handle with care, there's not a reason to think that that kid is going to be a danger to themselves in the immediate future. There's no reason to believe that they're going to be a danger to someone else in the immediate future. The idea is that we are being proactive in preventing that level of stress because the kid is being seen. You're being able to connect, and I'm going to acknowledge, hey, some of us have had really stressful days, so let's be extra patient today with our classmates. As a teacher, I can set that climate in the classroom just by knowing like there's a kid in my class that has been going through some stuff. It'll remind me that in addition to all of the math and reading and that I also am responsible for the social emotional learning. And that's a big thing right now with the Department of Education. So we're trying to be proactive, preventative. Does that make sense? Does that address
yes,
your? Okay.
It does, but we do have a lot of school shooting and a lot of danger sometime in the school system. So I just thought that if we had students that could be possibly violent to themselves or others, that would be some kind of way, and I don't know whether you say handle with extreme care.
It comes at a different point is the thing. So there is a program also with my colleague Michael Nadorf does the postvention. They have a grant, and so if there is someone who has ended their own life or someone who's died, because it's for suicide prevention and suicide postvention, because after something scary like that happens, the other kids are also very stressed out and increase. Yeah. So you're right that is a concern. I do not debate that at all. That is a concern. That there's other programs for that. so that there can be postvention training, someone goes, can talk to the counselors, make sure that that the students all know a safe way to report when they're feeling unsafe for some reason, or unsafe like with myself, my behaviors, or unsafe because that classmate over there. Usually the classmates from attending the community health outreach, the ECHO, you guys know about ECHO, the ECHO program? From attending the ECHO that UMMC does with the teachers, what we found is a lot of times when there's like an event where the kid has like thrown a computer at someone, the classmates, when they talk, when the teacher talks to them, and when the classmates could see something brewing before, but they had no way of how do I say something, and first of all, not getting myself in trouble, not getting my classmate in trouble, because I probably don't want to do that, like for tattling. So part of it is creating a climate where you can express concern about someone and it's not tattling. And what you say is not going to result in someone being in trouble. What you say is going to make it so that we have our eyes wider open and can follow up. So all of those things, yes, I agree, are part of the puzzle.
You got a great program.
Yeah.
Great program. Thank you.
I do like the program. I think it's great what you're doing, and like I said, and I see right here it said to help all children. So that's what I was saying is, and not going into detail, at Starkville Academy there was an event recently.
I know, yes, we had,
And
Kevin
so-
Armstrong went over, yes.
And so I think a lot of times those are forgotten children a lot of times, and also your Christian school as well. So Starkville Christian.
Just
So-
to speak on that, I have point of contacts there, because we serve kids there also. Just like we serve Head Start, empowerment stations, we have so many preschools that we serve through our special ed department and through speech language. I'm gonna meet with them once we get this going and rolling and have a point of contact at each school.
Please do, because
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
said,
yeah. No,
I
we
think a
have
lot
put
of
them on
times
That is
those-
the plan,
they're
yes.
left off the table. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we had put them on our list, because we have meetings up there. We have teachers that go in and serve at Starkville Academy and things like that.
And to set your mind at ease, because I understand what you're saying, when a first responder, so when you go on the little QR code and it takes you to that like one page, little thing where you can select, write in the name and select, you can select the school, but the officer might not know the school. There's a box for either other or for like, I don't know. And so if the school is not listed, if for some reason we have missed it, because we're human, and so right now we're not necessarily listing every childcare. There's lots of different childcare places also that we might not know about, because it's kind of a cottage industry. You could have like just I stay at home and I watch kids. So if it's not listed, there's a box where I can write down also the name of the school. And so then we will work together to try to make sure that that child is counted, just because they're not on the original list.
Gotcha.
Well, to that point, in other words, when I see some of the, right here, like us as the supervisor, the sheriff department, fire department, that would mean that they would agree to this program, would then this Christian school and Starkville Academy need to be, like you said, make a point of contact? Would they need to agree to that to be able to tell that teacher that?
Yes, I would think that we need to sit down and explain it to them also. It's kind of one of those systematic, we're trying to roll it out. We're taking it to our board this next week.
Right.
Because we have to get it approved through there, and then.
Because definitely private schools, I think, will have their own choice.
They're gonna have their own, yes.
They're gonna have their own choice, because that's the whole point of being a private school.
Yeah, right.
So I feel like that part of what we were doing is honoring our county leadership, and then we can explain how it's working, and can they join us so that we can also count their kiddos. But there will be an attempt, because she
please
serves
do.
all the kids everywhere. We definitely.
It's kind of like our 3-year-old daycares too, like
Yeah.
we're gonna go and meet with them, once we get the MOU signed and it's agreed and we're rolling it out in our schools, hey, for our preschools and our daycares, this is what we're doing, do y'all wanna be involved? Right, type thing.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, well, we certainly appreciate the proposal. What's the pleasure of the board on supporting the MOU? Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimous. We certainly
Thank you.
appreciate y'all's services.
Thank you.
Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
this program being implemented.
Not here.
Getting all this together.
John, no David.
Are you gonna speak for Mr. Pritchard? I am. Or are you gonna talk about Morgantown Bridge too?
I'm just gonna put what's on the agenda,
Okay.
Was that the gentleman that
It
we?
is, he'll come back to it.
Where at?
Mr. Henderson, come forward. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. See, they have you listed on the agenda for concern with property damage.
Okay. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
I'll be seated. Sorry. Morning.
Morning.
As you stated, I am Patrick Henderson. I'm a student administrator at the high school here in Starkville. Glad to be a yellow jacket. Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Third trip with Dr. McGee around the sun. So we happy to be back together. Love your school. Love what we're doing. Love what we got going on there. However, what I bring to the board this morning. Am I allowed to speak?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What I bring to the board this morning is on January the 18th, pretty sure it was, I was coming along Sessoms Road and got behind one of the county dump trucks, rock trucks. And a rock so happened to come out and hit my car. Now, that's one of my downfalls of being here, but everything else been good. But anyway, a rock come out and hit my car. Actually, one hit my windshield at the bottom, cracked it. I didn't see it when I made the police report out to the sheriff, but another one hit the side panel of my door, put a dent there, and protruded off that and hit the top of my window. I drive a Challenger, it hit the top of my window, and it made a little dent there, which the next day it so happened to pour down raining, and I noticed it was leaking right there. So what I guess my plea is this morning, I would like to get your assistance in fixing my automobile. I actually have the sheriff report here. Well, I did make a sheriff report. Good morning. Will you pass over? Yeah, I did make a report. I do have a copy of my notes as well. And there's two pages each of those notes.
The sheriff did investigate that.
He did. He came out, took pictures and all. Yes, sir. Also here's a copy of some of the items. I did get 2 estimates as well. I actually got 3, but I got 2 with me.
Certainly have a paper trail here.
Yes, sir. Well, I learned to do that in school administration.
I think this is your stuff right there.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't want
No, that's actually a copy. That's actually a copy. Yes, sir.
Victor, you've already been in contact with.
Yes, and this was done before I came on.
Oh, okay,
so-
okay.
And Mr. Lewis has been in. Guys, I see some notes on here coming from you.
Yeah, I did talk with yes. That's Miss
Dolores.
Dolores. Yes, ma'am. Hey, Miss Dolores. Good to finally meet you. Yes, ma'am.
The process is when there is a claim of damage, by the county, they will go to the sheriff's department, make a report. They will also take pictures. And so they get that information to me, I submit it to our insurance. They will then assign an adjuster who will make contact with the claimant. And then the investigation begins. In Mr. Henderson case, they made contact with the road department, and apparently they were told that there was not a truck in the area at that time. And because of that, the insurance denied the claim. And so Mr. Henderson has been in contact with me about it. And as I explained to all of them, once I submitted to insurance, it's out of our control. Because they do the investigation, I don't know who they spoke with down there because I don't, you know, that's not what we do. The insurance does that. But, he informed me that they had denied the claim and he wants to come before the board. So this is where we are.
Do we still have trackers on the trucks?
You have to talk to the department.
I also.
No, not you.
Right.
We had put trackers on all the vehicles
Mhm.
at one time, and the county administrator could, manage them to see where all the vehicles were, and I just wondered if we'd still have that. Do we still have trackers on vehicles?
Yeah.
GPS trackers.
Okay, so you would know if somebody was, I mean, you could go back and look at the data, but I mean, Ms. Farmer, you
What
have
date
access
was
to that too, right?
January 18th.
To my knowledge, when, Bridges Road.
Well, the
Management
17th.
was
17th.
taken off. And I didn't want to say all that, but.
Okay.
That's my understanding. But all this was prior to Mr. Collins coming, this claim.
Was the accident report done by the sheriff department on the same day?
Same day, probably 20, 30 minutes. I was trying to get onto my building, you know, just to get my kids in, etc. So I didn't stop right there because, you know, it wasn't, the car still was drivable. So I went on to the school and I called the sheriff department as soon as I got there. And once I went out to my duty, and the sheriff department called when they got there and filed a report.
All right, Mr. Henson, we certainly appreciate the information. Any more questions for Mr. Henson in regards to this matter?
Now, I'd like to make a motion though, if it pleases the board, I'd like to motion that we allow our board attorney in communication with Mr. Lois Farmer, our county administrator, to come up with a conclusion in regards to this claim.
We've had to have a motion. Is that second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion?
My only thing would be is, you know, we've addressed this so many times too with, like, it's not the exact same thing, but soil cement and people's vehicles being damaged severely and not being able to help those people. So I just, my only thing is, you know, how do we handle one and not handle the other? And we have talked about the other ones extensively, but, you know, we also know that they had reports and all those types of things too. So that would be, I'm fine with us investigating this as well, but we've been down this road with some other issues where people receive damage on their vehicles as well.
I think the motion was though just to investigate. It wasn't
Come up
to.
with a conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Well, they can come up with a conclusion. I certainly hope that Mr. Henderson will get compensated.
Probably, yeah.
Get
Yes.
compensated.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, any more questions on the motion? All those in favor, let me know by the pro vote side.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank
So
you.
we certainly appreciate you coming here, Mr. Henderson. We will follow through on this particular situation and respond back as soon as we can.
Did our attorney get a copy of all the, did you
Sure.
get the one from CCMSI?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Would you mind, you may already have it on here, make sure your contact information is on there.
All right.
So just for clarity, you want Attorney Robinson and I to kind of investigate it a little farther and report back?
And,
Okay.
well, do you need to report back or come up with a conclusion?
I mean, you all will have to make the final decision. We can just gather, we can just investigate and bring it back to the board.
That'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And you come up with a recommendation.
Not a recommendation, we'll just tell you our finding and you all make the decision.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Appreciate you. You have a great
Yeah,
day.
thank y'all.
Sir.
All right. Moving along, bid tabulation, I think Ms. Farmer's gonna handle that for Mr.
Yes.
Pritchett.
Clyde has some personal business to attend to today if he wasn't able to get away from it. So I'm only going to do the bid tabulation, but, I guess Mr. Collins, if there's something else he could discuss. So we will do the Macon Sturgis Road bid first. We had, 3 companies to bid on it: J.J. Ferguson, Phillips Contracting, and Paving Restoration. And Paving Restoration came in with the lowest bid.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board on these bids?
I make motion for approval on the lowest bid, which would be pavement restoration.
Okay, we've got a motion Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the Macon Sturgis Road situation? All those in favor, let me know by the vote side.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, Second, we took bids for the Douglas Town Road repair leveling. We had 2 companies to bid, Falcon Contracting and Mercury Paving. And Mercury Paving came in with the lowest bid.
What's the pleasure, board?
Clyde understood that we were waiting on some more funding. We can go ahead, like we do some of the projects, go ahead and get it on the shelf, and when funding is available, we'll go with it from there.
Got a motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions on the motion? All those in favor, let it be known. Question?
Just with the amendment of waiting to make certain funding is approved, correct? All right, making sure. And that was Marvell Howard and
Montgomery. Any more questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the pro voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Do we need another board order at all to proceed on Maven Sturgis Road?
Only thing we would need.
I mean, we accepted the bid, I get that.
I have it on the meeting, number 10.
Okay.
I got the contract, you see it?
Okay, yeah. All right.
Could we ask Ms. Farmer to get up with Mr. Pritchard and get us some updates on those Morgantown bridges? I know y'all saw the email about another one. Maybe get some string of communication to us so we know what's going on with those.
I can
Okay, all right.
Okay.
We have one of the other bridges that have a power that's rusted out. I did go and talk to one of the landowners where we're gonna have to get on them. We're gonna have to take a mini hole in up under it. Right now, water's flowing through the ditch. It's not a creek, but it's a ditch there. So we gotta, once it gets to the point where the water is slow enough or small enough, we're gonna dig that piling out. We'll have it cut out, replace it, put it back in.
Okay.
And so, only thing we're waiting on is a little bit of dry weather, and we'll take the big hole, put it on top of the bridge, hold the bridge up, and that little hole to go in. And so I'm gonna get approval for the landowner, in my package, to do that.
Okay.
And he's already signed off on everything. All I need to do is get that approved by the board, and then we get the weather, we'll go in and take that. It's just one column that's rusted out, and we gotta fix it.
Okay, you heard the request by the road manager. What's the pleasure of the board on that item? You come on forward too, Mr. Collins, if you're next.
Yeah,
Motion by
I mean,
Supervisor
I'd
Miller.
like to get it fixed if we can, so
second
it doesn't
by-
close it down.
Second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public vote sign. Motion passed unanimously. So you have the authority to do what you need to do on that.
Okay, all right, and it's in your package, the landowner, Otis Shaw. And one reason and one reason we gotta wait on it, the water line run down through there, and we don't wanna get on it and break it in the middle of a creek.
No.
I was gonna ask, can we put gravel on a drive that doesn't have a 911 that just goes into a pasture?
Yes.
That does not have an address?
As long as it's on county right away.
Okay, Daniel Thompson,
Mm-hmm.
Morgantown Road, and all I've got is his phone number. I'm not sure
Hold on,
exactly.
let me get that information written down. I got it. Is it
Daniel Thompson, he's on Morgantown Road, and it's something that goes into his pasture, 418.
Hold on, just 1 minute.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's not a culvert, it's just gravel, he said.
It's just gravel on the right.
Okay.
418-6424, but I didn't know if we did that or not.
6424, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. All right, is there any questions on the manager's report?
No, I was just addressing earlier with Victor about, because we started this rotation of the districts, and so,
Yeah.
if he'll just give us some notice when he's coming to District 4, so.
I will.
So we can
They
get started on
informed
some
me.
projects. What district are you in now?
We're doing a little, repair project in District 5.
Okay.
And then and this is what happened. At one time, we were down to actually 2 truck drivers. and so it wasn't really, they really couldn't keep up with what they needed to do, so we were actually sending trucks from the satellite shops over to haul gravel and stuff like that, coal mix and stuff like that to help them out. And now we're up to about 5 drivers. I think I've got one more that will make 6, that's on your approval for today. And then we'll be able to send 10-wheelers one way and trailer trucks the other way. And we'll be able to start back putting the block material in and working on some of the stuff on your project, as well as finishing up on Harold Road. And we also did work on Harold Road Bridge. The approach on the new bridge.
I came through that.
Yeah, I think we got that pretty well. We're letting that settle, and as soon as it does and the weather gets right, we'll go ahead on and pave that bridge in.
One thing on your limb clipping, y'all doing a great job clipping the limbs back on,
Yes,
on
sir.
the road. My one request would be when they clip them, if they falling in a yard where people are mowing,
Yeah.
make sure they get them pretty quick.
Yeah,
Don't
they
you
are
know,
they're actually moving out. I actually got them doing a clip a road and then go back and clean it up.
Okay.
And because we got a little bit more to do on John road that they missed. They got to go back and clean. Yeah. They got to go back and get that one up when they were
I'll
cleaning
just,
it up.
I mean, you know, not non-grass cutting yards
Yeah,
are fine
yeah,
to wait.
yeah.
But if they drop one, you know,
Okay.
cause grass season now, you have to
It's
cut
on.
pretty
Yes.
quick, so.
Yeah, and then I hate to go cut grass and a snake run. Because they are finding places
They are
to hide
moving,
now.
that's for sure. Supervisor Howard, somebody asked me about, is the county supposed to keep the grate on the lake cleaned off? And I thought that was in the 30% design. You know, the debris on top of that grate. Have you noticed that being limbs all on top of it? They sent me a picture.
There's some debris, water is rushing through, water is going out of there.
To the
Yeah. Because what they don't understand is even though there's something, the water actually, there's a under the
drain.
drain that drains that lake. That's for overflow really. But yeah.
I didn't know. I just
hadn't
read in
seen
the
anything in the
30%
30%,
design that we were supposed to
Did you
keep
see
it cleaned
it?
off.
Can you show it to me?
Yeah, I'll send you a picture. They
Yeah,
just sent me a picture.
if you can find it, I mean, because listen, when you say something like that, if that's something they're supposed to be doing, we wanna make sure that the county's getting but at
I
least
didn't
have
know
it
if you
ready
had
to
noticed
show.
it, you know.
But when you say that's in the contracts and in the, at least have it ready to show us, so we can make sure.
Oh, in the
that we-
30% design
Yeah,
contract?
yeah.
Oh, well, I can pull that out
Yeah,
and send that to you.
if you don't mind, show it to me.
That
and we'll
shows,
get it,
that
yeah.
it says that the county's supposed to keep the grate cleaned off.
That the county,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
How important it is.
Anything else? Yeah, well, now that you added a fourth, shop, how's that working for us? You don't have to rotate as much, I guess.
Well,
those-
we don't. It's pretty well. Now, I think Miss Miller was talking about on the construction side of it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think she was talking about on the
Yeah,
maintenance
no,
side.
just, I thought we were rotating on construction, per
construction.
district. I thought
Yeah.
that's what
Right.
is that not what we decided to do, was
Yes.
kind of
yes.
move from district to
I think
district?
that's
or-
what you. Yeah, we do a project and then we move to the next one. And really, new construction has just, right now, they've just been doing work as consistent of making repairs that's a little bit large for the maintenance crews. That's what they've been working on lately. And we had a lot of those loose ends that we've been trying to get tired of on stuff that needed to be done seriously, and it wasn't getting done because of the size of it. So that's why I got them working on that until we actually get into the construction part of it, which we've been waiting on a little bit of break in the weather.
Okay.
All right.
I have talked to our county administrator about availability of funding, for District 5.
Yes.
And I've come back to you to talk to you about, some roads that I wish that would be set up.
All right,
And-
I'm actually working on that as well as, checking on the funding side of it. So that's gonna be our main concern, is whether we got the money to do it. We actually running, I think we're actually running in the red on it.
We are. I will have your updated 4-year road plan figures today. I usually came in the last night, I was working, but I'll have that for you today. As far as the road department budget, it is in the red, so it's been overspent. However, you do have bond funds. So lately, everything we've been doing is being paid out of the bond funds.
But that's not the individual districts' funds, correct?
Well, with the capitalization, the road department, even though you get allotted your amount, it's all in one pot. So when you get the spreadsheet from me, that's separated. So I tell you, this is how much you've spent this time, but the overall budget is in the red. It has been operating out of the red.
So I need you to explain to me then,
Yes, sir.
if I hadn't spent all the funds that was available for District 3, I'm sitting here assuming that I've got funds unless they've been spent elsewhere.
You have bond funds. But
I know, but that was like 4-year road plan funds, bond funds, that was like, I had like several different pots of money that I was.
as far as the allocation from the county, the 4-year road plan allocation, the 537,000 you all get each year, that's in the red.
You mean just the 4-year road plan money?
Yes, and that's why I'm saying, you have your bond fund money, now that's in a separate account, so you do have money to operate off of. I'll have your report this afternoon, you come in the office so I can show you.
Okay.
So what we did in January, when we got the used modernization money, we're having to put all of that in there. The next check we'll get in July, and we'll do a budget amendment to get that in there, because, unfortunately, the previous road manager's been operating it out of the red. Some we're having to deal with.
Yeah,
This is where we are.
the replacement of covets, normally that has been coming out of a bridge fund, and I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It comes out of bridge fund.
Bridge fund, and not impacting the 4-year road plan.
When you start on your 4-year road plan, and I'm just saying, because we have not yet worked out a 4-year road plan. But now when your covers that goes into your road plan, those come out of your 4-year road plan. The only thing that comes out of bridge for your maintenance part doesn't come out of your 4-year road plan. But the covers that used on that road, everything on that, from clay gravel to the machines and everything, that comes out of your 4-year road plan.
And there's no way on those capitalization reports that's showing twice, is it?
It did on me.
Like when it comes in, I mean, there's no way we're deducting that twice, right?
No, because we pay the bills once a month, and so I go off of that.
Okay, but you then, and I'm just asking, you don't assign it and then go to the capitalization form and put it on there too, right?
I don't think I understand what you're asking. There's not a capitalization fund. So there's a line item for capitalization. All of your 4-year road plan roads, capitalization roads, all that work is paid out of that. The road manager is to oversee that budget and make sure when you develop your 4-year road plan, and you say this is how much that road project is gonna cost, that person should stay within that. Well, we went above that, and I've had conversations with some of the supervisors to explain, and Dee and I both tried to express the concern previously, and so.
So we need to pump the
This
brakes.
is where we are.
Is what we need to do on some of the 4-year road stuff.
Well,
I mean,
now you have bond fund, you still have bond fund.
But I think it needs to be, if you can, retroactively look back and see maybe what districts have and what districts have not. And then
I'll have that for you this afternoon. What I advise you to do, set aside a time, come into the office so we can have one-on-one conversation.
And
that would be better that way.
Okay.
And this is what has happened, guys. The cost of material went up.
Oh yeah.
And when it went up, there wasn't consideration put into that. So it shorted funds. And like I said, I hadn't used out of them, but I know that's what happened. Because covers has went through the roof here. They've had cost increases within, I think, twice this year just on covers. One 15-inch cover is $400. One 20-foot long 15-inch cover has went to $400 and some dollars.
You should get it for $99 down here.
And I do understand that, but I would have some concerns if $1 million of capitalization funds has been spent in one district and 200,000 has been spent in another.
Well,
Then I'd have some concerns about that, because that's not the way it should have been handled. So now, if that's what has thrown things off to where a ton of capitalization funds has been spent in one area and shorted some other areas, then I'll have some concerns about that. If that's in fact what has taken place. Can you have a breakdown of where those capitalization funds have been spent?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. I have for the 4-year road plan, as well as the bond funds and state aid.
Yeah,
I have all
sounds
that.
good. Thank you.
I think a lot of, like my 4-year, we were gonna use the bond funds to do that, but we haven't moved forward on that yet. You know, with all those roads have kind of set still, so.
Yeah.
Well, you should still have your bond money. I think we're talking specifically on capitalization funding,
The
which
only
was
thing-
4-year road plans.
The only thing
Right.
I can assume is that, so when you're looking at the budget, it does not break it out 5 ways.
Mhm.
It's just one
Right.
pot.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming that the funds are there, let's spend it. But all those funds are not for your district, you know? That's what I'm assuming. I don't know.
And I was gonna ask you, the rebate that came back on Poorhouse Road, where did we put that? Just in general county or what?
For,
Rebate.
I mean, there was we didn't spend all the money, state aid or something like that?
We put it in refund, and then
Refund?
there was a budget amendment to put it back into
Okay,
capitalization.
so, cause that was for Poorhouse Road.
oh, that $4,000?
$5,000.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It was
I mean,
received as a
I'm just asking,
refund.
where does that
I'm
go?
trying to make sure I understand
Yeah,
what
the
rebate
$4,000,
There's
the
a
refund.
budget amendment in there
Oh.
to put it back in the capitalization 911 line.
Okay.
While we're asking though, what about out on Sun Creek, those approaches on the bridges?
I'm waiting on Clyde to get me the information so we, like we did on John. I'm hoping to get that because I thought that was something we were gonna be able to jump on while it was wet and do, but we waiting on right-of-way agreement on that.
I thought we already had, cause we've installed a new bridges. So,
Well,
I mean,
not to the extent of what we need to get. See, when the bridge was installed, it was installed within one area. But if we raise those approaches, we're gonna have to have it other right of way. Because if we don't, we're just gonna have straight down banks with the road up. So we gotta have right of way to move out into that ditch and to move the ditch out further. To keep the banks from being just straight down.
So you don't think the right of way that we've got in place is enough?
It's not gonna be enough.
So Clyde needs to get you some maps or drawings?
Well, yeah, he's gotta get the drawings, and then, just like we did, on Maven Sturgis Road, he got the drawings, and he got all the names of the landowners, which I don't think it's gonna be hopefully it won't be a problem with the landowners signing, but yeah, we gotta have a little bit more right of way to keep those from being steep banks.
Well, I just hope it's not an issue where we have a particular road where part of the road is on the 4-year road plan and part of it isn't. And if a cover is added on the part that isn't, then that would not be
No, that wouldn't,
capitalized.
when every cover we put in, we list the road, the address and all. If it's not on that road, those covers won't be charged to it.
Right, so Harris Road is an example.
Yeah.
We have done some work on the upper part of Harris Road with
Yes,
some
yes.
coverage.
And I
but
don't
that's
think
not
you'll,
on the-
yeah,
that's
I
not
don't
on the
think you'll
4-year
have a
road plan.
problem because your clay gravel is already there.
Right.
So you don't, it's not in it, it's already been purchased.
Okay.
It's sitting there on the job, so just as the same as most of Supervisor Miller,
Right.
block material has been purchased. A lot of it is sitting there on at the fire station. So some of that is already, we already have the material for.
Right.
So that has already been purchased, it's been paid for.
What fire station? Craig Springs?
Uh-huh.
But we've moved off that area, right?
Yeah, but we still gotta,
That's where you're gonna put it? I mean,
No,
you're
I
gonna
mean,
haul
I'm
it all the
saying
way
it's gotta be hauled to the next
Okay,
road,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Just to make sure I'm clear, Miss Administrator, when we're pulling money from the
Yes.
capitalization funds, we're not pulling, hourly wages.
Per road.
Because,
Yes. On
that.
because we
Do
already
that first, okay.
have the employees paid,
well, we
right?
got living
So
room.
on a project,
We're gonna finish
we
it,
don't pull
and then we'll move over there.
the,
We capture it with the audit capitalization report we have to do. We have to capture the equipment in the bin, out, everything on the road.
As many as I can get
You
done,
are paying
you know.
for the material.
material
That type
only,
of-
right?
And contractual work if
We
we
just
are.
did sections like
Right,
it's-
right,
Yes.
okay,
So
gotcha.
the
Yeah, I'll
pay
get with you so
and
we'll
the
know
equipment
exactly
usage,
what.
no, that's not
Yeah,
coming
that's what I
out.
was
Same
wondering,
thing.
equipment usage.
No, sir, that's
We
not
don't
coming
pay
out
for
of that.
equipment
Okay.
usage.
No, sir. But we have to capture it.
Yeah, you have
on
to
the
Powers Road,
capitalize
it's
it, but
only
you
a
don't
section
have,
of
But
it.
it's
it
not
don't,
coming
it
out of
doesn't
that.
come off for your
It's
road.
from the
plan.
hill down to past where the people live.
I'll come in.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Just
That's what I thought, and like I said, I'll get with you
Okay.
when we start on.
Okay.
All right?
Move ahead, Ms. Collins.
Okay, I had a gentleman and contact me the other day, a Mr. Olson Shelton, about some property, and I think y'all may have a map and all, on that. He's, wanting access to that property. It's on Camp Southport Road. It was a cupboard there a while back. The cupboard still sits out there, but it was dug up and took out the ditch because it was blocking water flow. And he wants that cupboard replaced, in which we can't, that one won't be sufficient enough to use. It's not big enough. And there's a lot more water moving down that ditch, I guess, than when that one was put in. But he's asking to get another cupboard put in at that location.
We got a request to install the cover. We got a motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Don't mean to interrupt you.
It's on Camp Southport
Met
Road.
with a gentleman.
It's that,
Orson Shelton.
it's the, you got an email.
It's a culvert, before I forget it.
Right.
I just got Mr. Shelton, I don't get his first name.
Virgin Shelton.
Who?
Virgin Shelton. Yeah, Virgin Shelton.
I've got a culvert request at 73 Brown Road. He needs to get in, it's a culvert there, and it's under the ground. But it's not the driveway, it's at where there's a double gate. I'll get you a phone number and a name in a minute, but,
Got a motion
we
to
need to
install the
replace
cover at
that.
73 Brown Road. Second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passed unanimously. Motion by Montgomery, second by Howard.
Denise Richards.
Brown Road.
Okay. And that's, I'll get that from you later. Yeah, all this.
I'll forward this to you.
Okay. That'll be
Covered
good. That would be
requests. Covered requests, there's one from 78 Octop Road. Person want to be able to pull in a mobile home, and just a regular 20-foot is not gonna do it. It's gonna have to be wide enough to get a mobile home in.
Put 30.
Is that one already at that location?
Yeah, but it need to be, you can't add to it.
Okay,
So
that's
this
what
is
I'm
old
saying.
Old metal.
Yeah,
cover
I
that
just
you
wanna
can't-
make sure that it's not something that we need to go back and go through the whole process.
Right,
If
right.
it's one
One
there
there,
that needs to be
right.
replaced, that'll just
Right.
be a cover replacement.
Cover replacement, right.
Got a motion for cover replacement 78 Octop Road.
And
Second
look at
motion
the
by Supervisor
possibility.
Montgomery. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in
Yeah.
favor, let it be known by the public voting sign.
Look
Motion
at the
passed unanimously.
look at the possibility of adding a 40-foot cover there, as a possibility. Now, that's on Octop Road, but it's not the part that's on my 4-year road plan. That's on down to the end.
Yeah, this is gonna be on, this will be a,
Yeah.
cover replacement, so
Cover
it won't come out of 4-year road plan.
Okay,
Okay.
there's another one And this is really in Supervisor Miller's, your district. I guess you should have been called to that
It's okay,
site.
go ahead, I'm fine.
This covet is immediately behind Poorhouse Marketplace. Poorhouse Marketplace. Same side of the road. The address is 2215 Old Highway 25.
I don't have a problem with it.
They want to put a 40-foot covet in there.
Oh.
He's going to have his business, setting up a business there to sell something. I don't know what he's going to sell, but he is wishing for a 40-foot covet.
Okay.
That address is
2215.
Yeah, 2215 Old Highway 25 South.
Got a motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper voting sign. Motion passes unanimous.
Mr. Collins, I was gonna wait till you. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
finish
no,
it.
no, no,
Well,
go. While we
doing this, yeah.
Yeah, while we doing
At,
it, let's get this.
514 Walter Bell Road, the county has a cross drain that comes across that road. And on the south end of that cross drain, it's starting to wash a huge gully and making
Okay.
it, well, the person can't mow.
Okay.
All the way out. So I need you to take a look at that.
All right.
And see what we need to do to rectify, to keep that cross drain from causing even larger problem.
All right.
So
man.
already did a washout probably 8 feet and probably 4 feet deep.
Okay. Is it anything else?
Yeah, I have one other. Covered request for 366 Lean Lane. We removed a covet there, and person need to get back, need to be able to get on their property and get to their house,
Got a motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper voting sign. Motion passes unanimous.
What was the name of the road?
Lean Lane, 366 Lean, I think it's Lean Lane. Anything else, Mr. Scott?
Yes, I got some other stuff. I was just waiting, making sure we had all the covers, request covered. Okay. Last meeting, I talked to you all about the roller that we were renting from Scott Equipment. So I, in turn, brought you the information on it. What's the cost on it now, what the cost on it was, what we have applied to it. I think all that's on the first sheet. And I'm asking that we just go head on. We gotta have a rubber tire roller. We don't have one. I'm asking the board, would they be in favor of purchasing this one? And it's a new roller.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper voting sign. Motion passes unanimous.
Okay, next on the agenda, I have 2 quotes on a stump shearing, a clearing stump shear. One from Caterpillar, one from John Deere. I think it came in with the lowest bid from Caterpillar.
So it just shears it, just.
Yeah, it'll not only will it shear stumps. I'm trying to get away from having to use chainsaws to go out and do work on clearing. This will actually shear it'll actually cut after the tree hits the ground, they can actually cut the tree up with this. It's it's a digging shear. We'll put it on the old Traco. It'll actually speed up clearing time by a whole lot. And the material can be cut up and loaded on the truck without putting men's out there with chainsaws. And I'm gonna tell you, I got a shop full of chainsaws that down there that guy has been mistreated. No fuel wasn't mixed, and so any instance since we can get away from chainsaws, it'll be in favor of the county.
My only question is, are you gonna use that, you know, do you foresee with us being where we are on needing to work on all these roads and stuff, do you foresee us using that a lot this year, the rest of this year? And I'm just asking.
In the later part of the year, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, we will.
Does this thing have the knives you can replace, or is this just?
It's, you actually, if the knives go bad, you either build them up and grind them back down, or you just sharpen them.
Okay.
But in most instances, unless you catch a piece of steel with it, you're not gonna have much trouble out of it. They built, the edges are hardened, so they are well, and I've seen a couple of them run, and in fact, it was when Poorhouse Road was done, they used one, and the clearing time was a whole lot better than what ours were. And I was clearing at that time, and we actually need one.
Got any questions on the road, man? What's the pleasure? Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote. Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
Which one are we parking? Is it
Caterpillar had the lowest bid on that, the one they can get, and this one was more like the one I seen. It was a two-sided thing that which you clear it with, and one blade, and then the other one that John Deere came with was a one-sided, and I really didn't care for it because this one is going to be a lot stronger,
more apt to shear the other one that's not doing.
Okay. Guys, as y'all know, we have nearly everything we have now is computers on it. From the tractors to the motor graders to the trucks. We need a scan tool so we won't have to send stuff off to get them scanned or call somebody in to scan them for us. We've been doing, I think, a group out of Masterson that's been coming and doing our scanning on our trucks, but we don't have anything to scan the tractors with. I would like to purchase a scanner, and this scanner here will do everything.
Trucks,
not just
tractors.
the trucks. It will do the pickups. It will do the tractors. It will do the equipment. It will actually do all of them. And we got 2 years before it's we have to update this. And the lowest bid on it came in at $44.95, if I'm not mistaken. And it has down here, it gives you some of the stuff that it's capable of doing.
Just food for thought. I mean, every time you take something or somebody comes and scans it, they're gonna charge us.
Yeah, that's right. And whenever we take something to Empire, and I'm not gonna get that number, but it's several $100 every time they scan a truck. And since I've been here, I know we've had 3 trucks scanned. One actually quit on the way back in, and we had to go get it and haul it with a load on it. We had to put it on the low boy and haul it to the shop for them to scan it. We had one scan the other day down at the shop. The group come in from Matheson, and just to show you how simple it was, the only thing it was a loose connection. We cleaned the connection, plugged it back up, and put a zip tie on it. The check engine light went off. But without knowing where to start, without having something to pick it up, you can't do it.
It's trial and error.
It's a trial and error. So
changing out parts.
And they cost too much to do that. That's
the
reason we don't even attempt to.
We need a scanner.
We need a scanner.
And you've got somebody that can use this?
Yes, we do.
Well, and the only reason I'm asking is you talk about them not doing maintenance on vehicles and everything else, and you just talked about the chainsaws, and so.
Well, those are from workers. Those are from workers putting raw gas in chainsaws. That's where that comes from. A couple of them I think was ran over, but I think we got 7 saws sitting in the floor that came from me. And like I said, it was before I got there, which that may have not made a difference, but what I tell them to do is when you come in there to go get gas, come in the office, get the chain mixed first and put it in the can. And when you put the gas in there, it's already mixed. That's what I've been doing with them. And sometimes I have to treat the guys like, I'm just gonna be honest and say, like children sometimes. You just have to do them like you do a child. You just have to tell them what to do and make sure they do it.
Vic, is this scanner with this diagnostic, basically a diagnostic
Mhm.
machine? Is it mobile? I mean,
Yes.
something
It's gonna
breaks
be,
down out in
it's,
the
it's,
field?
he'll be able to take it with him to the vehicle. This is
Okay.
what it looks like. This is the scanner itself. And it's like a heavy duty tablet.
Okay.
It's
got it.
built on a heavy duty style. It comes with all the connections to fit all connections on Caterpillar, International, all the way down the line.
Okay.
It serves all of them.
You put it on a half-ton pickup.
It'll fit the pickups and all the way down to cars.
Okay.
With the motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams, are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by their pro voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
One more thing.
The company is Truck Pro.
The company that's coming out of,
Right. Is that-
it's coming, the lowest bid is I can tell you the name of the company, I got it.
It's
Cap-
like on
well, that's
the
the
email.
name of the-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Captica.
okay.
What is it?
CAPTCHA.
And the guy that sells them
Oh,
for
that's
this,
something else.
Oh, yeah.
and the guy that sells them to us, he will come and do a demonstration on the machine. He's out of Jackson. We had looked at some that was out of California, but the thing of it was, anytime something went wrong, you'd have to call and try to work it over the phone. With this one, the salesperson is out of Jackson.
So it's not Trans-Tech?
No, it's Wholesale Powertrain is gonna be the seller.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah,
That's
Wholesale
what it is. Wholesale
Powertrain.
Powertrain.
Yeah. I put that in my wallet for a reason.
All right, move on to the next item.
We need we've been renting concrete saws, and we cut driveways from time to time that we have to cut, and we cut roads. This is a quote for a chainsaw from Power Stroke, and I have another one from United Rental. And the United Rental one come in pretty high. I think they come in at $5,400 for the 14-inch and $7,100 for the 16-inch. This one is a 16-inch that you can use a 14-inch blade on it if you want to.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, are there questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by their pro voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, last thing, we need a little bit more space in the office. 3 of us are crowded in there, and my proposal was to just add a little space inside the shop and just kind of seal it off to where it will have space. And this is an estimate on that a gentleman gave us on it from Belt Construction. And it's just adding inside the office to where we can move things around and get some space in there where we're not all crowded up.
Heard the request from Roman, Mr. President. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery.
No, I was just gonna say, I thought we were gonna move somebody in that house thing.
That's what we got rid of.
Oh,
Yeah,
It was full of mold.
Last thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
I
loaded.
mean, I
with
thought
mold.
that was the
That
plan
was the
originally.
plan.
That was the original plan,
Yeah,
but
kept the plan on the stove too long.
Okay, I'll make a second.
Second by Supervisor Miller.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Are you adding additional, you're not adding additional space, you just utilizing the space
the
that you
space
already
that's,
have.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we're just closing it off where it'll be, Ms. Leslie will have room to do her paperwork and not be at where, we got people walking in the office all the time, just people coming in, and it's kind of irritating to stop what you're doing and have to listen to the conversation. And when we're using the phone, there's 3 people in the office using the phone, and it's time that all 3 of us, and most of the time I'll get up and, if I'm on my cell phone, I'll get up and walk outside, but if I'm on the phone, I gotta sit there and try to finish a conversation. And a lot of time the people you're on the phone with is hearing part of the other conversation. And that's why we are asking for that.
This would come out of buildings and ground?
Building and ground, yes.
Okay.
Daryl was the one that got these. He met
Okay.
with Victor. They came up with a plan, so they're able to just extend the office out into the bay, actually. So you won't know it, unless you go inside the building.
And the equipment we agreed to purchase is coming from, that's not coming from capital improvement fund, is it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Well, Victor and I have been talking about that, so we'll get the second use funds to Kelly.
And a lot of that, Supervisor Howard, we had strapped on 3 yards, and we moved enough to actually purchase this machine.
He can clean off the yard too and sell them on the scrap and stuff.
Okay.
All those in favor, let me know by the pro vote sign. Motion passed unanimously. That's on the addition.
That's what road managers.
I think.
I think you may have something else.
Oh, just nothing else other than we're doing bid opening for the tree cutting on Thursday, May the 4th. Here in
And
the
do you, so somebody called and I sent them down there. They
Okay.
have the machine that's on the, zzz,
Yeah.
Did they come get that stuff, or do you know?
Yes, they came and got them. Yeah, I've had, I think 3 or 4 people, I know at least 4 that come in, and I think we've had so many, maybe 2 bids turn in so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
On Houston Thompson Road, there's, you said scrap, there's a metal culvert there, and a, looked like a piece of a good plastic culvert under that, just whenever you can.
It's a lot of stuff that, because we gotta go back and revisit that project, and it's a lot of stuff that's scattered out through the county that's got to be picked up. And as soon as we can get some of this limb stuff out the way, we'll take the truck and go back and pick up a lot of that metal cover. We'll be able to use the limb truck to pick up a lot of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that we need to pick up and actually utilize, like old covers, old metal covers and stuff scattered out.
But it's actually a plastic culvert under that's about 20 foot long.
All right.
Let's discuss what Supervisor Miller brought up. If in fact the county is supposed to clean the trash rack off, what is it gonna require? You gonna have to rent.
I'll have to look out. I have to look at it and see.
I think you'd have to rent a large track hole and sit on the levee and reach
Yeah,
and
but
try it.
ours may reach it. I just have to see that old 322 got a pretty long reach on it.
Yeah.
And we have worked it from the road and did some work. So I'll take a look at that and see what we need, see what it's gonna take.
Okay.
We may be able to do it with that track.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. If you got it, that's fine. Show it to us.
I probably have it on my phone.
And while I'm thinking about it, Ms. Miller, there was Ms. Dotson from your district and Mr. Swopes from your district said that she had been trying to get up with you for about 3 years. You had promised us some spoiled dirt for a yard, and Mr. Swopes actually lives in Littlewood, but he owns some property in Sturgis, and he said he had been trying to get up with you about 3 months, calling constantly, hadn't been able to get up. You needed some work done, needed to talk about some right-of-way work with you. So I'll pass those 2 numbers on.
I appreciate
to you.
that.
Okay.
I call everybody back.
Okay,
Text
well,
somebody that
I'm
needs
just,
the
I'm
emails
just telling
to
you
say-
what they told me.
Yeah.
But I'll give you their numbers and you can talk with them.
If not, then let's acknowledge the road manager report. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the pro vote sign. Motion passed. We certainly appreciate the good work you do. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes,
Carter.
sir.
All right,
Have a
thank
great
y'all.
day. All right, Ms. County, Ms. Living, chance to play bid.
I've got 2 things. The first one, I need to acknowledge the affidavit of publication that we did for Douglastown Road and Sturgis Maven Road.
You've heard the request. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the pro vote sign. Motion passed unanimously.
And then the last thing is the notice of publication that we did for the tree cutting and removal of the paved roads.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
That's all I have.
All right, moving right along.
What was the first thing you said? I'm sorry.
Publication that, for the bids for Douglastown Road and Sturgis Maven Road. And then the other was the tree cutting.
Okay, moving right along. Ms. County Administrator,
Payroll changes for approval?
you got the payroll changes. What's the pleasure of the board on the payroll changes?
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper voting sign.
I'm a no on that one.
Okay, motion passes 4-1.
You have 3 budget amendments for the sheriff department, $1,665, $1,116, and $419.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passed unanimously.
Have two budget amendments for the road department, $5,673, $5,358.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Pritchard Engineering invoice for the Major Sturgis Road, in amount of $122,185.10.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. All those opposed, same sign.
I voted yes.
Oh, okay. Motion passed unanimously.
Pritchard Engineering invoice for Douglastown Road in the amount of $8,606.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign.
And this is with the amendment you were saying?
This is for class work on.
Oh, okay, okay.
Motion passes unanimously.
Robinson Law Firm invoice in the amount of $3,985.
Motion
And
by
this
Supervisor
is,
Miller, second by Supervisor
this one is
Montgomery.
for,
This is multiple.
That's multiple.
Things. I don't even have the invoice in front of me. What you
Well,
said?
It's in your packet.
It's in the
This
packet.
is saying.
It's just up to September 9th, you know.
This
Cause
is-
Rob's kinda like a shotgun. We just
Yeah,
use
this
him
is
for
about-
everything.
okay.
Have to pay it. We use it.
All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Sadly, I don't look at my own invoice. I'm sorry, Kid does it.
The airport, invoice, the reason I'm bringing it to your attention, I only budgeted the 24th, but they later, if they did not tell me in advance that they would need an increase in the budget. So the invoice is for 25,000, but we only budgeted for 24, and I have a attachment of the allocation to the back. So I just want you all to acknowledge we'll be paying them more than what we budgeted for. Also, I asked them in the future to let me know in advance when I'm working on the budget if they anticipate an increase, so I can budget for it.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Ms. Taylor reached out to me about the brick fire, annual allocation. I think Attorney Robinson can elaborate a little more on this. Legislature passed it.
We passed this for our local and private for the, but this stuff doesn't get plugged in. I mean, it actually doesn't become law until July. So, I mean, I would ask that when we table.
We can just
I'll check
acknowledge
on
this.
Okay, we can acknowledge it, but the reality is that I don't think we can pay it
Till it's legal.
Right.
So
And I'll check on it one more time to make sure, but we can go ahead and acknowledge it, but the truth is, it needs to not be paid until then. This is.
So my question is,
Okay.
are you okaying it and I hold it and pay it, or do I need to bring it back?
I'd prefer it be brought back.
Okay, no problem.
And I'll check on it one more time to make certain,
Just
but
make
this
sure we
doesn't
don't-
plug in until July.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back.
We need to acknowledge.
But you still have to give it time to be transferred to the county before you.
Well, this is the county actually paying it. This is not.
Oh, yeah, that's
the
right,
state.
county's paying.
Yeah, this is not
That's right,
mistake.
that's right.
One quick question, does that apply to all the others?
Yes,
Because we had
ma'am.
some paid and some others
Yes,
too.
ma'am.
But all of it is July. So
Because-
moving forward now, we just be good
Yeah,
to
in
pay
the
them.
future will be good for duration, but, I mean, it wasn't, it doesn't come into effect in July, till July.
Okay, so we'll be good.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
all right.
So when we approve these, don't we be approving them for the upcoming budget year?
Well, if they're already in it, like Sally Kate, we have that,
Mhm.
we've been carrying that one. So if it's in July, we can go ahead and cut that check, because we budgeted for that. Brick fire, we did not, but if you move forward, I can still pay it, that's not a problem, but, in the future, what I ask you to do is send me a letter telling me how much I budget for it, and when the time comes, I just pay it. I don't have to come back to the board.
Okay.
The
That's how
number
it's
was
been
up to
done.
Okay,
5,000.
okay,
We all
good
be
deal.
aware of that.
Next you have an interlocal cooperative agreement for the Spring Street Highway Club. This is through the city of Starkville. I presented it the last meeting, but they have the interlocal agreement this time.
Motion for approval.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
We have the Maiden Sturgis Road State Aid Project Contract number now, SAP 5384.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
We need to acknowledge awarding the Harris Road Bridge LSBT 5316 contract to NL Carson.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
I know we had some citizens come about the pickleball, but I would like the board to just move forward with having the lights installed outside of the safe room. I know you have that contract with the city, and I don't know how that part is gonna work, but we still need the lights, so I'd like to move forward with contacting them for the installation of that.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
We need to move forward with replacing the E911 system. Christian can explain it to you a little more. I think one company started, they went out of business. Another company tried to finish it, but somehow there's a disconnect and notices going out as if there's something going on. But
The alarm.
The alarm, yes. Yeah, the alarm.
Yeah, the alarm system.
So-
The alarm system is not working in our building at all. We call constantly,
Yeah.
saying there's an alert in our building. And I think, me and, Daryl all get calls, and they happen about 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah.
That there's a trouble at the center. So yeah, whoever was working on it before, it was something with the sprinkler system or something that was not right, and that company quit, so.
Yeah. So we need to replace
Low
it.
water
They're about
pressure
2
alarm will
quotes.
go off.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board on that? Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, I need some help with this. I got an application for a Freeport warehouse license. I spoke to some of you all. It's for Weavex LLC, Andrex Fabric, and JJ Plank Company. So I talked to Attorney Robinson and asked him to give me some guidance on this. I know it's a $10 fee, but I don't quite understand it. I know it's something about waiving the personal property taxes for maybe up to 7 years. I don't know. I need help.
It seemed like we've talked about this in the past. Does this have something to do with inventory, storage of inventory?
Southwire came one time
Yeah.
about that.
It was
Yeah,
that
and I
Dundalk
think we
place
waived
too,
it.
wasn't it?
Y'all done it in the past.
Yeah,
do know
I
that.
think we waived it, in the past. I mean, you know, that's,
Hey, I'm for our existing businesses, you know what I mean?
All right, so this, do we have a motion?
Good,
Motion by
great
Supervisor
comment.
Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
I think you have a credit card.
Montgomery and Williams. Montgomery makes the motion, give me a second.
Credit card charges in the amount of $2,042.20.
so
Motion by
move.
Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Claims, docket number 2607 through 2958 in the amount of $4,656,500.08.
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 4-1.
And just to remind you what Mr. Collins said, we will be opening bids this Thursday at 10 for the tree cutting and removal, at 10 o'clock in this room. That's all.
Okay, Cannon, we took care of the cover request, took care of the motor grader request. Supervisor Miller, do you have anything coming out of District 4 that we need to? Supervisor Montgomery, out of District 1, Supervisor Howard, out of District 3?
I'm good.
Supervisor Williams, out of District 5?
You motion.
Excuse me, Mr. Attorney, did I miss you?
Yes, sir, y'all, I have got we may have to revisit this, but this is for all resorts. not any particular resort, all resorts in the state. I have an ordinance that I would like to submit to you. We don't have to vote on it today, but I'd like for y'all to look over it. We may have to come back and deal with it further because we're not the, we passed the ordinance, but it has to be, DOR has to take it and they have to approve it as well. So whatever ordinance we pass, they have to approve under resort statuses. This basic ordinance basically says that we are going to put all resorts in line with what the city of Starkville, when they close their operations, which is 1 a.m. In the morning. This basically does exactly the same thing as what the city of Starkville does. It's up to you guys, to this board as to whether or not we want to pass it today, but I wanted y'all to be aware of it. And I can get you copies of that, put it all in your boxes, but we can come back next time and vote as to whether or not you want to do this or not. Because this changes how we do our resort statuses across the board.
Yeah, let's do that. Put it in our box.
Yes,
Give
sir.
us a little homework to do.
I do also have, those of you that are well, actually, it's the board president. I have some temporary easements that I wanted to leave you, and then I think I left some in your box.
I've got all my signatures except for one, and that's the guy that owns the Dollar General, and I had to send it.
I understand. But I do have that available here, and we were set up. At some point, I'd like for each of you, because y'all need to be aware of any of the lawsuits that we have going on out right now. At some point, if you get some time, give me a call during the week or whatever, and I'll just discuss some of those with you. There's nothing, I don't think it's necessary that we go into executive session to discuss these, that I know y'all got a lot of other things going on today. But if you get a moment, I'd like to at least be able for y'all to be aware of what's out there, and be thinking in terms of what the budget and things like that, how it could affect all of that. But those are discussions that we could have at a different time. That's what I've got. Thank you.
All right. Just a reminder that they're going to have the MAS will be in town on Thursday at 4 o'clock at the PDD building to give updates from all the activity from the legislature. So the meeting will start at 4. I think Dunn will start at 5. So we wanted to encourage you to come by there and get updates from MAS. Derek and the crew will be here. Anything else to come before the board before we proceed to close? Setting an adjourned meeting.
Be the 15th at
In the afternoon, if we can. I know y'all don't want to do that, but
it doesn't bother me now. I'm kind of here.
I mean, it doesn't have to be 5:30. I don't care if it's 4:30, 3:30. Just afternoon.
Okay, well that's better.
I mean,
y'all
4
want to set
o'clock.
it?
I don't, you know.
Which one? 3:30?
I don't.
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
All right. Let's set an adjourned meeting for the 15th at 3 p.m. How about that?
So moved, 3 p.m.
All right, sounds good. Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. We stand adjourned. Motion carries. Unanimous. We'll meet on the 15th at 3 p.m.
Thank you.